right, let's hit the field.
All rise.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
Today is Friday, October 25th, and it was Game 1 of the World Series in Los Angeles. Gerrit Cole and the American League champion New York Yankees were in hostile territory, and they were trying to gain momentum in the series against Shohei Ohtani and the National League champion Dodgers. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is Pinstripe Territory.
Welcome to New York City.
Pinstripe Territory.
Just when they thought I was out.
Hey, pull me back, kid.
Sorry, my volume was off. Wow. That was the second devastating loss by the Yankees in this postseason. Last time they were able to bounce back. This one going to be difficult. And if tonight is any indication, this is going to be a very close and very tight World Series. Extra innings in Game 1. Dodgers walk it off on a grand slam by Freddie Freeman. Now, some of you are old enough to remember Kurt Gibson. I believe it was 88 that he was hobbled. He had two bad knees. Came in to pinch hit in the World Series against Dennis Eckersley and hit a walk-off home run and was basically hobbling around the bases. Freddie Freeman has been basically hobbling all postseason with an ankle injury. And there was some doubt whether or not he would even be able to play in this series or whether or not he would even be effective. He's looked like a mummy out there. But Aaron Boone went to Nestor Cortez out of the bullpen in the 10th inning rather than Tim Hill. You had a spot for a lefty. You had to face Shohei Ohtani. And obviously Nestor Cortez had a very good year, but he has not pitched in a month. And, you know, I was thinking that he was going to go to Cortez, but I personally would have rather see Tim Hill there. I just think Tim Hill has been much more effective. He's used to pitching out of the bullpen. And to me, that's one of those spots where you got to question Aaron Boone. And Game 1 of the World Series is super important. The team that wins Game 1 of the World Series wins 63% of the time. Now, it doesn't always happen. The Yankees lost Game 1 of 2009. It was Cliff Lee shut them down, and they still won the series. They lost the first two games in 1996 at home and still won. And they had to go through John Smoltz and Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine. They came back and won that series. So this by no means ends the series, but it does make the Dodgers' path that much more easier. I do think the Dodgers also have the advantage in Game 2. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But it was a good old-fashioned pitcher's duel for most of the game. Home plate umpire tonight was absolutely terrible. Absolutely god-awful. I do not know why Major League Baseball doesn't put the best and most highly rated umpires on the field in the games that matter the most. How many blown calls were there in the strike zone tonight? Absolutely awful. You had Gleyber Torres screwing up on a throwback in on the Ohtani double that got away from him. You just got to use your body and knock that down. He tried to do the fancy backhand, and it got away. And those are the type of little things that Gleyber Torres does that cost you ball games. Those are the little things that drive me nuts about Gleyber Torres. Just the little lapses in focus that have come back to bite this team all year. And it's sad because you see the immense talent. He was 2 for 5 tonight. He hit the ball hard. Another time he's hitting .310 in the postseason with an .852 OPS. But just loses focus at vital moments. Ruined a big home run by Giancarlo Stanton that would have possibly gone down in baseball history, much like the ones that Judge and Stanton hit against Clase. He's obviously still on fire. Massive 2-run shot. Gravity barely kept that baseball on planet Earth. Majestic. Go-ahead homer. He stood there and watched it to the point where before they even switched cameras to follow the flight of the baseball, you could see from his reaction where it was going to land. He was just standing there watching it. He knew it was gone if it was fair. We'll talk more about Giancarlo in a minute. Judge had no chance tonight against Jack Flaherty. 3 strikeouts to begin the game. He did pick up a single, 106-mile-an-hour base hit up the middle, but then he popped up in the biggest at-bat of his life late in the game. Another tough game for Aaron Judge. Continues to struggle in pressure situations. Now, he did have the big home run against Clase, and he hit a home run up, I believe, 4-2 against the Guardians. But, look, we're not going to win this series if Judge continues to choke in big situations. He has got to come through. I do think that maybe the 5-day layoff kind of affected the hitters on both teams. It took a while for the offense to get going. It looked like a lot of guys' timing was just a little bit off, fouling off fastballs that would normally get hit hard. Max Muncy didn't look sharp. Anthony Volpe didn't look sharp. The good news is that Stanton and Torres continue to swing the bat. So we've got a chance. But Shohei Ohtani, huge double in the 8th inning. Gleyber Torres with the big error. Yankees did get 5 outs from Luke Weaver tonight. Jake Cousins came in at a tough spot and surrendered a couple of runs that scored on the home run. Nestor Cortez obviously did not get the job done. Jazz Chisholm, I thought, played a good game. He had a couple of hits in this game, a couple of big stolen bases, scored on a fielder's choice in the 10th. And, you know, the Dodgers did lose a vital piece of their bullpen before this series. They lost Evan Phillips, one of their best relief pitchers. So that certainly could affect them going forward in this series. Word around the campfire is that he could come back later in the series, but definitely going to put extra stress on that bullpen. Call in to the voicemail show. We'll talk about it all tomorrow morning. 718-899-1068. We'll be live probably around noon. Same goes for Sunday. This is the 172nd post-game show of the season. We're here after every single game. Subscribe so you don't miss any of it. If it sounds like I'm downtrodden a little bit tonight, it's because I am. We got 4 super chats. JXV88 says Tim Hill was right there. WTF Boone. I knew he was going to go to Cortez, but I didn't like it. Franklin Lopez says, why would you put a pitcher in that hasn't pitched in a month against the tough part of the lineup in that situation? Ohtani just missed it and gave Freeman the same pitch. The pitch to Freeman was a meatball. It was an absolute meatball. Got another one says, as a Dodger fan, I completely agree that we need AI calling balls and strikes. It's hard to watch. And then Mr. XS says, why pitch Nestor instead of Hill? I wish I had an answer. That's just Boone for you. That's just Boone. I thought lost in this is going to be Garrett Cole, who really did look quite good tonight. If you've been following the Yankees postseason closely, you know that Cole has been kind of okay this postseason, but not great. You know, he bent a few times, but he hasn't broken tonight. I was worried about how sharp he would be with 10 days rest. He's a guy who, you know, routine is everything to him. And when you disrupt that, you know, with the layoff, but also the pomp and circumstance that goes along with the World Series, the flyovers, the first pitch, the long national anthem, all that stuff, I just didn't think he would be that sharp. And again, he came out in the first inning, and he looked a lot like the guy who pitched in Game 1 against the Royals in the division series. Very hard hit balls in the first inning, 2 fly balls to the warning track, and a piss missile right at Volpe to end the inning. He also gave up a triple to Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman had himself a night, 2 for 4 with the triple and the walk-off grand slam. But after that, Cole seemed to settle in. Second inning, he came out, and he got a really nice catch from Jazz Chisholm running in foul territory. Jazz Chisholm really had a good game. He made a nice pick on a hard one-hopper. He overmatched Kiki Hernandez and Will Smith with strikeouts. And then easy third inning, finished it off with a strikeout of Ohtani on a big hook. Bottom 4, he got some help with a over-the-shoulder catch from Anthony Rizzo, and then took a blue pit away from Mookie Betts. And then he broke 2 of Freddie Freeman's bats back-to-back, got out of the inning. Gave up a run in the 5th, triple, sac fly. You could make the case that Soto probably could have caught that ball or at least played it a little bit differently in right field. Probably couldn't have caught it, but at least take a better route and cut it off so it doesn't, roll around in the carom down there. I feel like that could have been played better. He has not had a good defensive postseason at all. Stone Cold says you should not have walked Mookie. That was dumb. That was playing the percentages. I think you have to walk Mookie right there. You got runners on second and third. He's an amazing hitter. First base is open. That run means nothing. The run on second base is the run that matters. So you want to, play the percentages, go with the somewhat hobbled Freddie Freeman. You may be hoping that, late in the game after playing on that ankle, maybe it's a little sore. Maybe he's not feeling so great. Maybe you get him to foul one off the ankle or something like that and you win the at-bat. But he just made a shit pitch and Freeman destroyed it. But anyway, sixth inning I thought was Cole's most impressive inning. He gave up a leadoff double to Tommy Edman, but then pitched out it. Big help from Jazz Chisholm over there at third base on a hard one-hopper. Cole went 6 innings, 1 run, no walks, 4 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts. So very solid outing from Gerrit Cole. Lost in this is going to be Giancarlo Stanton's big home run. We call him Supernova Stanton now. We used to call him Nuclear Stanton, but a nuclear explosion is not adequate to describe the amount of destruction that this man causes. So we're renaming him Supernova Stanton because that's pretty much the most devastating thing in the known universe other than Giancarlo Stanton in the playoffs. Big G always hits well in LA, and it's a shame that we lost this game because that would have added to his postseason legacy even further. Instead, it just pads his postseason stats. But the broadcast showed an angle of Freddie Freeman reacting to the home run, and he was just in amazement. But, that's one of the things I love about Stanton. His home runs are like video game home runs. They're not short porch, second row. You got time to sit there and watch him. He goes swimming in the deep part of the pool. 17 home runs now in the postseason, and hitting him at a quicker pace than Babe Ruth. We've got more supers coming in. I appreciate all that. Let's talk a little bit about Game 2. The Yankees have to get up off the mat, but before we break down tonight's game, I want to tell you what to expect tomorrow, and I got bad news. From the pitching side of things, the matchup clearly favors the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a reason that Yoshinobu Yamamoto got $325 million, and it's for nights like tomorrow. I expect him to be at his best. We saw what he did at Yankee Stadium under that pressure. He rose to the occasion. He had filthy stuff. He was throwing his slider. Yankees couldn't touch it. The splitter was unbelievable. He ended up hurting his shoulder. He had a rotator cuff injury. It was made worse by the slider, but he's been throwing the slider again down the stretch here, which tells you he's feeling better. And I just don't like the matchup because the Yankees don't hit junk ballers. And he's a junk baller who also throws 100, right? I mean, think about some of the games they had against Seth Lugo, right? A guy who throws a bunch of different pitches. Well, Yoshinobu Yamamoto is like that, but he's got even better stuff and even better control. And on the other hand, you got Carlos Rodon, a power lefty who should be able to handle Ohtani and Muncy and Freeman about as well as anybody, maybe Edman. But the problem is the home run ball. I don't think there's any margin for error against the Dodgers tomorrow. Typically, Rodon will allow a home run or two. Maybe a solo shot here, a solo shot there, or he'll allow a 2-run shot, 3-run shot late in the game. You cannot allow that to happen tomorrow. Your backs are up against the wall. You got to go pitch for pitch with Yamamoto. I am not feeling good about tomorrow's game, and I'm not feeling good about tonight's game. The Earl of Demise with the big dono says, Aaron Judge is very close to cementing a horrible postseason legacy. Fire Boone into the sun for that stupid decision. Tim Hill was right there and has been lights out, but no, bringing the guy who hasn't pitched in a month. There's nothing there that I can fight you on. Aaron Judge, here's the sad thing about losing that game 3 of the ALCS to the Guardians, is that it hurts. It becomes a footnote, much like Stanton's home run tonight. It's a footnote. It was a big home run, but you lost the game, so nobody's going to care about it in 5 years. But if you lose this series and Judge has another bad series, you're going to continue to see comments about him not being clutch. And in order for him to erase those doubts, he's got to actually do it. No one cares about how many home runs you hit off of middle relievers in June. No one cares about that right now. You've got to hit these A-plus relievers in the biggest games of the season. Absolutely pitiful performance so far. Let's get to the recap here of the game.
Let's get it going.
So first inning, Gleyber Torres smoked one, but it was right at Max Muncy. Soto walked and Giancarlo reached on an error, but could not score. Home plate umpire absolutely trashed from the very beginning of the game, and that continued throughout. Top two, Rizzo led off the inning with a single that hit Jack Flaherty in the foot, but he got stranded at second. Second inning in a row to open the game that the Yankees stranded runners in scoring position. Torres led off the third inning with an infield single, but Soto banged into a 6-6-3 double play to erase him. Flaherty just seemed to get better and better and better as the game went on. He went 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Excellent play by Max Muncy in the fifth inning to take away a potential infield hit from Gleyber Torres on a high chopper. It's one of those do-or-die kind of picks, and he made it and then made a good throw. Bottom five, Kiki Hernandez, opposite field, triple. And with Kiki on third, you saw Garrett Cole dial up the velocity to 98, but Will Smith picked up a sac fly to put the Dodgers on the board. Top six, Yankees answered right back. Soto with the opposite field line drive single, and then Giancarlo Stanton with an absolute nuke. 2-run home run of his own. Ball took about 5 minutes to land. I went and made a frozen pizza and did my taxes while we waited for that ball to land. Absolutely destroyed. 116.6 off the bat, 412 feet, according to StatCast. Looked like about 470 feet because it was so high. Just a big, beautiful, majestic home run from Big G Unit. We had a little fan vote in the ALDS about who was the MVP, and Stanton won it, and then he won the official ALCS MVP, and he got off to a good start in the World Series. But if the Yankees don't win, he's not going to win MVP. But it's good to see that he's still hitting and still dangerous. Yankees did load the bases against Anthony Banda, but left them loaded. And if you look at their numbers with runners in scoring position, they went 1 for 8. Both teams went 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Yankees left 11 men on base. You cannot win leaving those kind of numbers on base. Bottom six, Edman, who won the NLCS MVP, ripped a double down the right field line to lead off the inning. Shohei got him over. Mookie hit an absolute P-Rod to Jazz over at third. He made the incredible pick. And then Freddie Freeman took one to the warning track, but Soto reeled it in. That should have been a warning that Freeman was feeling good and swinging the bat well. Top seven, hard line drive single from Aaron Judge to snap a streak of 3 consecutive strikeouts to begin the World Series. And I was hoping that would get him going for any at-bats later in the game, because sometimes a lot of hitters will tell you, when you come out of a slump, it's just a hard line drive up the middle that gets you going, right? Just hit one hard, right back up the middle. And I was loving that, but he failed to come through in his next at-bat. Bottom seven, Dodgers finally got Cole out of the game. Clay Holmes came in, threw some gas on the fire, but Tommy Kahnle with a huge out to strand 2 runners in scoring position. I felt like at that point that was going to be the biggest at-bat of the game. A base hit there, and the Dodgers take the lead. Tommy Kahnle stayed in for the 8th, gave up a 1-out double to Ohtani. Throw comes in, and Gleyber just tries to do the fancy little pick. Ball gets away, and Ohtani, being heads up and being fast, being a great baseball player, not just a great slugger, took third base and ended up scoring on a sacrifice fly by Mookie Betts. That was big. That was a huge, huge play. Ohtani made that run. Great hitter, great speed. He is going to be a pain in the ass in this series. Top nine, Gleyber Torres almost gave the Yankees the lead. Jeffrey Mayer Jr. out there in left field, reaching over the wall and grabbed it. Probably would have been a double anyway, but got ruled fan interference. Got called a double. Dodgers walked Soto and brought in Blake Trinan to pitch to Judge. Biggest at bat of his life, and he popped out to shortstop. Luke Weaver, I thought, threw the ball well tonight. He got 5 outs. Top 10, Jazz Chisholm had a big half inning, finally coming around. If he's going to play well in this World Series, it's going to complicate things. Line drive single, second hit of the game, stole second, stole third, scored on a fielder's choice by Volpe. And you got to credit Volpe for putting the ball in play right there. He had some really bad swings. That was not a good at bat from Volpe until the very end. He was swinging at pitches that he had no chance on. And I thought he got away with a check swing that probably should have been called strike 3. Jake Cousins came in for the 10th, got the first out easy, walked Gavin Lux, and right there is when I started to get. I felt like my bladder was being squeezed. Honestly, that was the point where it felt like it's starting to turn in the Dodgers' direction. Got the infield hit by Edman, and then Nestor came in to pitch to Ohtani. You luck out, you get Ohtani there with a pop out. Great catch by Verdugo. He went into the stands. Verdugo had a good night on defense. But then Freddie Freeman, after they walk Mookie Betts with shades of Kirk Gibson, walk-off grand slam.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. If you ain't first, you're last.
Yankee Lover 100 says that's the worst Yankees loss since the 04 ALCS. The Game 3 of this year's ALCS was pretty bad, too. Earl of Demise says, oh, wait, he already said that one about Aaron Judge. I'm losing my spot here. SJC says Hill deserved to be in that spot. Hell with analytics. I kind of agree with you. I wouldn't have gone to Nestor in that spot. I mean, it's one thing to go to Nestor to face Ohtani, but you do it in like the 6th inning, right? You don't want to go in that high of a leverage spot. Guy hasn't pitched in a month. He hasn't pitched in a month. And you're putting him in that spot? I don't like it. YouTube commenter says, Boone BSing us in the postgame as usual. He likes the way Cortez has been throwing the ball the last few weeks. That's why we saw Cortez. Throwing the ball on the side is different than throwing the ball in the 10th inning of the World Series against the Dodgers. We're going to take a few more comments, but first, got to pay the light bill. Quick word from Mint Mobile, then we'll be back with about 5 or 10 minutes of your reactions coming right up. Back in 60 seconds. I love a great deal, but I'm not going to run sprints in the outfield just to save a few bucks. It's got to be easy. With Mint Mobile, it really is that easy to get wireless for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. The best part? Purchase and activation are super simple. Honestly, the longest part of the whole process is waiting on hold while you break up with your old provider. Just go to mintmobile.com/territory. Right now, all of their 3-month plans are only $15 a month, and that includes the unlimited plan. And all of their plans come with high-speed data, unlimited talk and text on the nation's largest 5G network. You can even use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your current number along with all your contacts. So, if you want to get this new customer offer and your first 3 months of premium wireless for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/territory. That's mintmobile.com/territory. Cut your wireless bill down to just $15 a month with Mint Mobile. Upfront $45 payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers only. Speed may slow after 40 gigabytes on the unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
That ball is high. It is far.
A lot of Dodgers fans in the chat gloating, and I would just like to remind you it is a 7-game series. We've seen teams win Game 1 before and drop the series, so don't count your chickens before they hatch. But congrats. I mean, that was a well-earned victory. Jack Flaherty pitched really, really well. And Freddie Freeman has his big postseason moment now. So, hey, it is what it is. You dust yourself off, and you come back tomorrow. And you try and put this one in the rearview mirror. But look, like I said, tomorrow's not a good matchup for the Yankees. You got to hope that you squeeze one out tomorrow. You somehow steal a victory, and you go back to New York 1-1. Yankees should have won this game tonight. They really should have won this game. They were one pitcher short. If you had Ian Hamilton, who's injured right now, I think you might have won this game. But I predicted Yankees in 5. Can't win in 5 if you don't lose 1. So, Retro Tony says, bat Judge second tomorrow, Soto third. They haven't done that all season, and I promise you they're not going to do it tomorrow. Stanton is all the protection that Judge needs right now. It's not on the guys around Judge to do it right now. It's on Judge. Judge has got to come through. Judge has got to get the big hit. Peter Van Dusen says, Anyone else going to lose sleep tonight? Nightmare. You know what I've been doing these last 4 days that we haven't had games? I've been watching the spooky season movies. I've been watching all my Nightmare on Elm Street movies. And today feels like the work of Freddy Krueger. It really does. But you get up tomorrow, you go to work, you try and win another game. Look, it's going to have to come down to Aaron Judge getting big hits, right? So far, we have gotten to this point in the postseason in spite of Aaron Judge putting up a 665 OPS and hitting 167. That cannot continue in the World Series. Ohtani came through. He's got a 903 OPS. Betts, 1.003 OPS. Other guys who have struggled in the postseason are starting to come through and have those big games. Aaron Judge has not. He had the home run against Class A. Nobody gives a shit because you lost the game. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Got to come back and, do some damage. Anyway, I see a lot of people that are saying fire Aaron Boone. I don't know, man. I mean, we've seen managers get fired after deep playoff runs, but it's hard to fire somebody after you make the World Series. However, $300 million payroll, you should be in the World Series. Really, this is going to come down to the Yankees pitchers need to do better. Aaron Judge needs to start getting some big hits. And we got to stop leaving so many men on base. Jake says we're leaving too many guys on base. Absolutely. 11 left on base tonight. Take a look at the box score real quick. So Torres 2 for 5 tonight. Soto 1 for 3 with a couple of walks. Judge 1 for 5 with 3 strikeouts. Stanton 1 for 5 with the 2-run home run. 1.159 OPS in the playoffs. Chisholm 2 for 5. Rizzo 1 for 4. Volpe 0 for 4. Wells 1 for 5. And Verdugo 1 for 4. On the pitching side, Cole 6 really good innings. Holmes got a couple of outs. Canely got a couple of outs, gave up a run. Weaver, 5 outs, didn't give up any runs. Honestly, you probably could have gone for Weaver for another inning if you wanted to. You really could have. And then, of course, Cousins and Cortez did not get it done. So, it is what it is. You come back tomorrow and you hope to win a game. And if not, you go back to New York down 0-2 and you hope to win 3. And that's just the way these series go. Somebody's got to win game 1. Was not the Yankees tonight. Call in to the voicemail, 718-899-1068. We'll be live tomorrow at noon with a voicemail show. And I will see you when I see you. Quick outro here. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and give us a subscribe. It helps other Yankees fans find the channel. We're also on all your favorite podcast platforms and social media. Join the community, have some fun. We're here after every game. This is Pinstripe Territory.